When you start picking apart the media on a regular basis, you don't see it as most other people see it. It is like you can automatically see the matrix code. And the reason is you have seen it before, over and over. We've seen a UN commercial with a CGI dinosaur sending out a message about climate change. A strange tactic, yes, but it gets attention. Now, strange, bizarre, creepy, even scary commercial ads are not uncommon in today's world. And no matter how abstract or weird a commercial ad may seem, the whole concept here is to elicit an emotion from the viewer. It is to sell something to you, whether that is a product or idea. There was an Australian commercial listed in the description box below, showing a woman on a hospital bed, breathing heavily on a ventilator. And the issue surrounding that ad was that it was a bit too much. And I don't disagree. The actress did such a great job, I felt something. Couldn't help it. It is the visuals of the commercial, not the message, which is to participate in the experiment. This is a movie, folks. I am living in a Hollywood movie. Who's the latest villain now? Omicron? Isn't that a Transformer? I am Omicron. I am here for your souls. I mean, are you freaking kidding me, folks? I didn't even bother to look it up. When I saw that name of that variant, I actually laughed. To think they want this thing to now sound like a supervillain. They did that on purpose. Come on, guys. You know they did that on purpose. They are trolling you. They are screwing with you. You guys want to accuse someone of fear-mongering? There you go. Recently, someone sent me a commercial ad from Canada. A very interesting ad, if I do say so myself. And I'm going to go through it with you in just a moment. There is something happening right now that is very scary. And I honestly do not really want to go through what is going to become of the children today. 2 to 5 years from now, these children are going to be insane. And everyone is going to wonder what happened. Do you guys know what type of mental disorders these kids are going to develop because of this experiment? Well, we are going to talk about this ad, this commercial from hell. Now, the best thing to do is to watch this commercial first. Link in the description box. It's only 30 seconds. Because you really need to get the feel of this commercial before I get into it. So here we open up to a fete or festival or festive event. It's a birthday party set in the 80s or 70s. It has a very vintage look with the decor and color scheme. Not to mention the sun mirror on the wall. I want you to keep that in mind because I want you to think about what sun gods are there. So this little girl is turning 7 and she gets to have a birthday party with all her guinea pig friends. So first of all, little girl, can you wait until your mom, I think that's her mom, can you wait till she puts the cake down before you start blowing out candles? At least until she moves her arms away. And you know something? I wouldn't be surprised if this was done on purpose, foreshadowing a bunch of rude, spoiled little brats. I'm serious, folks. You can't divide kids this way, where one group is privileged because they are considered safe and the other kids are not. This is how kids think. They are going to look at each other with prejudice if you trained them to do that. It's going to be like the cooties, only for real, with real long-lasting psychological effects. I hope you parents out there are prepared for this. Get ready for that child therapist bill too. Now, what got me was the look on this girl's face. I thought she was looking right at me, right before she did this. Stuck her tongue out at me. Well, not at me. She is supposedly sticking her tongue out at COVID. Although, without context, that is not what it feels like. By the way, this sticking out of the tongue, the mocking tongue, it's a Masonic gesture. It is associated with the element of fire. Also, what animal likes to stick its tongue out constantly? I'll give you a hint. It rhymes with lake. So here we have Big Ben and Junior Healy. If you guys don't know who Junior Healy is, go watch the movie Problem Child. It's about a mischievous little boy that caused nothing but chaos. He had a serial killer for a pen pal. I forget what they called him, but it was a comedy with John Ritter, and I think some of you know who I'm talking about. I mean, he is referred to as the devil in the movie. So far in this commercial, the question is, am I seeing things because I want to see things? Or does anyone else see what I see? Oh boy, Grandpa doesn't know what he's in for. Little Chucky is going to spread that spike protein all over Grandpa and then tear up his house after. Is this a commercial to warn the virus or to warn us? Now, there is a color scheme here as well. Blue and gold. And those, as some of you may know, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but those are Masonic colors. And the reason I say that is because there's no way that this is a coincidence. So here we are at the clinic. Is this girl giving us the devil face with horns? Again, the tongue sticking out? They did the tongue thing twice within 30 seconds. You think they could have had this girl do something different? I mean, could you be any more obvious? We see the color scheme, blue and gold. Also on the side of the desk, we can see injection stage 3, which could simply mean stage 3 of the experiment. Now, as you could see, there isn't a whole lot to break down in this 30-second ad. Maybe some of you can see things I didn't see. Let me know. But while we are on the subject of what this commercial is presenting, I do want to discuss this a bit. How many of you have heard of the deity Moloch? I know many of you have. For those of you who are not too sure about this deity, let me tell you a story. Now, you may have heard of the deities Baal, Molech, Ashtoreth, maybe even the alternate name of Moloch, which is Topeth. Topeth is actually a place, a valley outside of Jerusalem. They called it the Valley of Hinnom, which is another word for Gehenna, which is another word for Gehenna, which of course is another word for hell. This is a place where people made sacrifices to Moloch. Now, in the book of Leviticus 18, God gives Moses a pretty long list of don'ts regarding sexual relations with each other within the community, the Israelites. Because remember, a lot of these people were coming from worshiping those gods from Egypt. So you have about 17 verses about who not to have sexual relations with. And then out of nowhere, you have verse 21, which reads, You must not give any of your children to be sacrificed to Molech, for you must not profane the name of your God. I am the Lord. So what they used to do was, those who did sacrifice to Molech, there were several ways it occurred, but there would be a bull made of brass that could be heated internally or externally with wood. And it would have two arms stretching out that would heat up. And that is where you would place the sacrifice. They had to beat drums to drown out the screams and cries of the children and the parents. In chapter 20 it reads, "The Lord said to Moses, you will also say to the Israelites, any Israelite or any immigrant living in Israel who gives their children to Molech must be executed. The common people will stone such a person. Moreover, I will set my own face against such a person, cutting them off from their people, because they gave their children to Molech, making my sanctuary unclean and degrading my holy name by doing so. But if the common people choose to look the other way, when someone gives their children to Molech and do not execute such a person, I will set my own face against such a person and their extended family, cutting off from their people both the guilty party and anyone with them who faithlessly follow Molech." Listen to those last three words again. Faithlessly followed Molech, meaning they lost faith in God and decided to break his trust and follow this other deity. And there is a reason I brought this up and the commercial, because this is what's happening right now. You think those parents wanted to give their children to Molech? They did not. They were coerced into it. They thought it was something they had to do, because that is what the beast deity required of them, if they wanted things to stay normal. Do you see? And now it's happening again. The experiment has extended to children now, and I can't imagine what God has in store for those who faithlessly follow the government. There is more madness to come, so stay tuned. Be sure to visit woodwardentertainment.com and the Woodward Entertainment store. You can follow me on Instagram at jwoodward. And until next time, folks, let's consider better protecting our youth from the horned bully of the government. And as always, stay awake, stay aware, stay safe, and I'll talk to you all soon.